Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vince Cerf. I'm Google's chief internet evangelist, and it's a special honor and pleasure for me to open this ceremony recognizing Ken Thompson's receipt of the Japan Prize in 2011. I would like to recognize some of our distinguished guests, from whom some of them you will hear later today. Professor Yoshikawa, who is the head of the Japan Prize Foundation, and his wife, Taiko. The General Secretary of the Japan Prize Foundation, Ken Shimba, is here. Toshiyuko Aizawa, who is the Chief Officer of the Communications Group of the Japan Prize Foundation, and where is he? He's over there in the back. Michio Harada is the Deputy Consul General of the Consulate in San Francisco. Yoshiaka Nagawa, who is Vice Consul at the Consulate in Japan. Ken Thompson and his wife Bonnie, our honorees, are here, and you'll be on stage momentarily. Bill Coren is our Senior VP for Research and Systems Infrastructure. And finally, Mizuki Mcgrath, who is the Engineering Director of Google. Where is Mizuki here? Yes, please stand up. Thank you, Mizuki. Normally, this event would take place in Tokyo over a period of several days. I had the honor of participating in that ceremony several years ago. It's quite elaborate. It involves the Emperor and the Empress of Japan and many, many hundreds of other people. But as you know, a serious earthquake and a subsequent tsunami struck Japan not very many weeks ago. And it was concluded that a more appropriate way of celebrating this event would be to come to the locations of the honorees. And so our visitors from Japan have very kindly come all this way in order to recognize Ken and his colleague, Dennis Ritchie, who will be honored in Princeton later this week. So I want to give thanks to our dear friends in Japan. I also want to recognize some of the group which responded on Google's behalf during the crisis that occurred and continues to work to help recover the situation there. So if I could ask the person finder and crisis response team to simply stand up and be recognized. This is one example of Google's very serious commitment to response in times of difficulty and crisis. So I think that I want to thank all of you for joining us today to honor Ken, and I would like to now invite Bill Coren, our Senior VP for Research and Infrastructure, to make some remarks about Ken and his role here at Google.
So I want to thank all the people who've come to honor Ken today, and I particularly want to thank the representatives from the Japan Prize Foundation and from the Consul's office for their coming here. I think this is a very grand gesture. We're obviously sorry that the ceremonies couldn't take place in Japan, but we understand the circumstances. I've had the privilege of working with Ken for most of the last 30 plus years. He and I were colleagues at Bell Labs for a long time. It was an outstanding group of people, and I've seen the impact of UNIX over the years, both in terms of the actual system. It's had major impact on, I think, the products that have been produced by Microsoft. It certainly influenced what happened with the creation of Linux. I think also it epitomized the ideas of simple, elegant design and ease of reuse of pieces of software, and it's been an achievement that's been acknowledged by a number of prizes that Ken has won over his career. And I'm delighted that he's receiving the Japan Prize this year. I think it's well deserved. But with that, let me cue the video, which will tell us a little bit about Ken. And the prize.
Dr. Dennis Ritchie was born in 1941 in New York State in the United States. He has 2 brothers and 1 sister. He was very close to his sister Lynn, with whom he always played together. In 1959, Dr. Ritchie entered Harvard University. Although his major was physics, he became interested in computers and started taking programming classes. After graduating from Harvard, he joined Bell Labs, which was also where his father worked. On the other hand, Dr. Ken Thompson, who would go on to become the co-developer of UNIX, was born in 1943 in New Orleans. He grew up with his brother and sister in the loving care of his parents. When he was a child, he lived in Japan because of his father's work. The good memories from his days in Japan have made him a fan of Japanese culture. This particular photo was taken in Kamakura. He had been interested in computers since a very young age, and when he was in high school, he even built a handmade robot. After high school, he went on to study at the University of California, Berkeley. After graduating, he joined Bell Labs, the same company as Dr. Ritchie. Around this time, a big change was sweeping across the computer world: the rise of computer operating systems. Developers around the world, not to mention Bell Labs, were racing to enhance the performance of computer applications and hardware through operating system development. In 1964, Bell Labs, along with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and General Electric, began joint development of an operating system. This project was named Multics, and Dr. Ritchie and Dr. Thompson from Bell Labs were chosen as project members. However, between 1968 and 1969, Bell Labs decided to withdraw from the project. They realized that in pursuing the ideal system, the project had become too large and complex, and the overall system performance wasn't going to live up to their expectations. In leaving the project, Dr. Thompson regretted letting go of the space travel game he had developed for Multics in his spare time, of which he was very fond. Dr. Thompson ported the game to an old computer in the laboratory, and from then on, with the help of Dr. Ritchie, added the important functionality of Multics. This laid the foundation for a new operating system, which would later go on to become UNIX. Dr. Ritchie, on the other hand, developed a C programming language to enhance the readability and portability of the UNIX operating system. Through this effort, UNIX gained a larger user base. Despite Bell Labs' withdrawal from the project, the doctors personally kept the development alive, and as a result, UNIX was born. Despite its low-profile birth, UNIX today is used in computers around the world. While both doctors devote most of their time to research, they also have hobbies of great variety. Dr. Ritchie is an avid reader, especially of books on science and nature. He also loves to travel, not to resorts, but to places where he can enjoy nature's wonders. He is very passionate about studying the natural world. Dr. Thompson, on the other hand, loves computer chess, classic cars, and airplanes. He loves airplanes so much that he can fly one himself. Having spent his childhood years in Japan, he is quite fond of Japanese culture and is a big fan of sumo wrestling. Co-developed by the doctors today, UNIX has deeply infiltrated our lives. Most notable is the Internet. The realization of the Internet was made possible when UNIX equipped with TCP/IP protocols was developed. This version was based on the UNIX that was given to the University of California, Berkeley by the two doctors. The idea of providing source code free of charge is called open source. The doctors' openness and sharing ideas amongst researchers without seeking financial return gave rise to a new kind of development philosophy. The doctors' achievements have received recognition from various quarters. In 1983, they received the Turing Award, which is given to individuals who have made outstanding contributions to computer science. In 1998, they were awarded the National Medal of Technology by then-President Bill Clinton. Today, Dr. Ritchie continues his research at Bell Labs, which is only a 5-minute drive from his home. Dr. Ritchie, who co-developed UNIX when he was in his 20s, has the following message for up-and-coming researchers. Since its birth, UNIX has been widely used by governments and civilians for over 40 years. I believe it became a successful, unique system because it was developed by a small team for their own use with very simple design. I feel the long-running success of UNIX can be credited to the research in which we had total freedom to research whatever we liked. On the other hand, Dr. Thompson has since left Bell Labs and today works for Google Inc. He has been developing a new programming language. The inquisitive Dr. Thompson has the following message for up-and-coming researchers. Research and development are two different things. Development has clear goals, but research is goalless because it's the act of discovering something new. If you are a researcher, you need to continue enjoying your research at hand. Other than UNIX, I've had many research topics like voice recognition, language, searching, security, games, and whatever I found interesting. UNIX resulted from research into new things we were merely interested in. We are very lucky. It turned out to be very fruitful.
And with that, I'd like to welcome Chairman Yoshikawa and Mr. Shimba up to present the prize.
Good afternoon, Dr. Thompson, Dr. Cerf, Dr. Korang, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to be here to present the Japan Prize to Thompson. Before explaining you the background and reasons for the selection of Dr. Thompson and Dr. Ritchie, let me tell you the reason why I am here in California. The Japan Prize presentation ceremony is normally held in Tokyo, as Professor Cerf, Dr. Cerf explained, but today I am here. On March 11, just over 2 months ago, an incredibly huge earthquake hit the coast of northeastern part of Japan, followed by a series of massive tsunami over 300 miles along the coast. The tsunami swept away people, cars, houses, and everything. It devastated many towns and villages, and it was something which we never experienced. The accident of nuclear power plant caused by tsunami is a shocking experience to us. Immediate help from USA, not only the personnel support and offer of machines and vessels, but also the knowledge of suppressing the failure has been quite important for the rescue from the crisis. Today I knew person finding by Google. It was quite nice, and I deeply felt the power of information technology. not only the technology power, but also the kindness and passion of young people. Thank you very much. I would like to sincerely extend our heartfelt thanks to all of you for your kindness and support. It happened when we were the tsunami happened when we were in the height of preparation for the Japan Prize presentation ceremony and the banquet, which were to be held on April 20 in Tokyo at the presence of Their Majesties, the Emperor and Empress in Japan. As the disaster became increasingly serious by the minute, I started to doubt whether we should proceed as scheduled or not. I knew that Dr. Thompson and Dr. Ritchie and their family members were very much looking forward to visiting Japan to attend the Japan Prize events. And we had already sent out the invitation letters to more than 1,000 guests. But even under such conditions, I had to realize quite regrettably that we had no choice but to cancel all the events. Soon after we made the final decision, we reported to the Imperial Household Agency so that His Majesty of the Emperor would be informed. Shortly, we have got a message conveyed by the Chamberlain that the Emperor was concerned about the laureates and indicated that the award should be bestowed upon the laureates in an appropriate manner. We then reported the decision to Dr. Vinton Cerf, the 2008 Japan Prize laureate, and consulted the way to present the award to Dr. Thompson. Dr. Cerf instantly responded to us with an idea of holding an event at Google to congratulate him in front of his company. Coincidentally, we had also received the same recommendation from Bell Labs. Thanks to our friends in the United States, we have been able to visit your country to present the awards to both Dr. Thompson and Dr. Ritchie in person. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my sincere appreciation to all the people at Google. My personal and special thanks go to my friend Dr. Cerf, who helped us to make this opportunity in a wonderful and commemorative way. Now, Japan Prize is given to people who are acknowledged as having attained outstanding, thus contributing towards the advancement of science and technology, as well as to the peace and prosperity of mankind. Normally, we applaud scientists and technologists who have achieved eminent results in scientific and technological research, and we simply imagine that either the discovery in science or the creation in technology will bring benefits to society. Thus, we often overlook the steps how those discovery and creation become the real benefits in society. However, the process in which a scientific discovery or technological creation arrives at the real benefit in society is hard and complicated, and normally it takes many years. This process can never be realized only by economical or societal motivations. It necessitates sophisticated intellect and passion of scientists or technologists who work intensively to transform their results, scientific or technological results, towards social benefits. Japan Prize has the distinction of applauding such scientists or technologists who made great contribution to science and society. From the first Japan Prize Award in 1985 to the award this year, 74 leading scientists from around the world have been honored. there are more than 13,000 official nominations of Japan Prize throughout the world who sends us nominations every year. Within each of the two fields, several hundred nominations undergo a strict selection process by the selection subcommittee members consisting of authorities of that field. The selected candidates are then recommended to the Japan Prize Selection Committee, where the candidates are to undergo a very strict selection to be the finalists. The finalists are considered not only by the impact of their scientific and technological achievements, but also by the measure of their contributions to the development and progress of society. Dr. Thompson and Dr. Ritchie's achievement of the development of UNIX operating system went through strict process of selection. Today, many of the underlying technologies in the field of information technology have been derived from UNIX, most notably the Internet. University of California, Berkeley, developed the Berkeley software distribution and extended version of the 6th edition UNIX implemented with the Internet Protocol Suite. UNIX was the standard system used in the early days of the Internet, and it greatly helped the realization of the Internet. There are so many things about this, but the video has been already showed, and you, distinguished guests, know the history of UNIX better than I know, so I skip everything. So it is very clear that UNIX was a major driving force behind the development of the information age. When looking back at the evolution of computer science and the development of the IT industry, the fundamental contribution of UNIX is unparalleled. It is for these extraordinary achievements that Dr. Ken Thompson and Dr. Dennis Ritchie are deemed most eminently deserving of the 2011 Japan Prize, given to honor contributions in the field of information and communications. Let me repeat, your contribution to the modern information age is great, for which I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to you from all members of the Japan Prize Foundation. Before closing, I would like to show our commitment to express our congratulations to Dr. Thompson again in Japan. In other words, I would like to invite Dr. Thompson to the Japan Prize presentation ceremony in Tokyo next spring. Thank you very much for your attention. Now I would like to invite Dr. Thompson, please. Citation, Dr. Ken Thompson, development of the operating system UNIX. Whereas you have advanced the frontiers of knowledge by your original and outstanding achievements in science and technology, and whereas you have thereby significantly contributed to the progress of the cause of peace and prosperity of all humankind. Therefore, the Japan Prize Foundation, with deep respect for your manifold accomplishment, bestows upon you the Japan Prize. April 20th, 2011, the Japan Prize Foundation, Hiroyuki Yoshikawa, Chairman. Congratulations. This is it. Okay, show this. So please show this to us. Go, I'm with you. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yoshikawa. This is such a great honor for us to host this special ceremony. I'd like to recall Ken Thompson to the lectern to make some remarks in response to the receipt of this prize. Ken, can I invite you up here?
I would like to definitely thank the Japan Prize Foundation for this honor, and I am so honored to be included in the list of past recipients of the Japan Prize. It's I feel like I don't belong, but I appreciate it very much. I welcome the members from the consulate office from San Francisco, and friends, family, wife. The disaster response team, thank you very much. I'm so proud of you guys. And then everybody at Google, all my old colleagues, especially thanks to Google for the best email address in the world. I'd like to tell a little story. It's an absolutely true story. And I apologize if you've already heard it. I've told it to individuals at different times. And once, a very long time ago, I gave it a speech like this for that. But I thought I'd try it anyway. I'm going back to my graduation at Berkeley in 1966. Right after my last class, I jumped in my car and started driving across the country to my first official work at Bell Laboratories. I had designed a traveling sales problem to visit old friends across the United States at various places. And I made stops in Arizona, South Texas, New Orleans, Pensacola, Florida, Charleston, South Carolina, Washington, D.C., and finally Bell Laboratories in New Jersey. The first small incident that occurred during this trip was I was crossing Georgia, a little two-lane road that you could see for 50 miles ahead. And as I came over one hill, down at the bottom of the hill, there was a man standing in the street. And as I got closer, he started waving, you know. I slowed down. He didn't get out of the way. I slowed down. Finally, I stopped. He was right in front of the car. And the man came over to the window, leaned into the window all the way up to his torso, and right in my face he said, "You didn't vote for that son of a bitch Johnson, did you?" There's only one answer to that question. So he was satisfied with my answer, and after that we were good friends and we talked politics for about 10 minutes, and I drove on. Okay. The second thing that happened is after I'd come to Bell Labs and set up an office and walking around as the most junior member of all of Bell Laboratories for 3 or 4 days, in my inbox came a package, and the package was maybe 8-10 inches long and about 1.5 inches square. And on the outside it said, "Danger, live alligator." I opened it up, eager to see what it was, and it was a live alligator. Well, in those days, early days, even later actually, spent more time at work than at home. So I set up an alligator home in my office. I got a 2-inch deep Pyrex dish, put it in my recessed window that had a heater in the bottom of it, filled it with water, and dumped the alligator in. It seemed to like it, liked the water very much. At first, I had to force feed the alligator because it just wouldn't eat. And so I'd take some fish and shove it down his throat and keep pushing until it either bit me or it swallowed the fish. The alligator got bigger and bigger and became eager to eat. And anything that would come over the lip of its dish would get bit because it was food. You know, it's the definition of food if it came over the edge. I went to the grocery store and got the cheapest fish I could find. I think it was tripe. And you could get about 500 pounds of it for $1.25. And I would take it into my office every day, and I would throw this fish, a chunk of this fish, over the edge of this thing. And this alligator would stay in the bottom of the water with just the eyeballs sticking up. And it would jump out, snap this thing, and it would make a loud snapping noise. It was very serious teeth. And then splash down in the water, and there'd be nothing but the eyeballs. It was just that fast. Anyway, I kept this thing for most of the summer, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It had to make a U-turn in this dish. But it stayed in this dish. Everything was fine. One day I came in, and it wasn't there. Now I'm receiving the Japan prize, and supposedly I'm smart, but somehow I didn't realize that this alligator that's probably 2 feet long could crawl over this 2-inch high dish. So he's gone. And nobody at Bell Laboratories knew I had an alligator. And probably by now I'm maybe the third youngest, most junior person at all of Bell Laboratories. I was a little afraid of what would happen. So I came in at night and searched for the alligator. And Bell Laboratories is a rabbit warren. It has movable walls to make new laboratories. It has hidden channels and subfloors and ceilings and attics, and it's the most complicated building you can possibly imagine. And this alligator was just gone. So I searched and searched and searched for maybe a week, close to a week. Couldn't find this alligator anywhere. So I gave up, and said maybe in 50 years they'd find this thing all dried out and wonder what it was. So I just pretended like it never happened. Well, several days after I had given up, there was a commotion in the secretarial pool room. This is, in those days, all the secretaries were in one office, big office, and they all sat behind desks. So I go running in there thinking what it might be, and sure enough, this alligator was standing on its hind legs, sitting up like a dog, barking like a dog. I don't know if you ever heard an alligator bark, but it's pretty frightening. And there was a secretary on a desk screaming, really literally standing on this desk. So anyway, I grabbed this alligator, ran back to my room, threw it in its water, and pretended like nobody saw, or nobody would figure out what happened. But somehow the word got around that I had an alligator in my office. And slowly, all of Bell Laboratories came through my office, one at a time, and said, can I see the alligator? And I said, well, just don't put your nose over the edge of the glass. And they would go over like this, and They get bit on the nose. So my alligator bit about 4 Nobel laureates while it was. And I got to know nearly everybody at Bell Laboratories, and it was just a boon to my future development at Bell Laboratories and collaboration with all of these people that I met. Okay, I'm going to try to justify this story at the Japan Prize presentation. I had a thesaurus at home, and I looked up prize just to try to get some notion of what I was going to say at this talk. And it says best of a kind, and a synonym was quality. And I looked up quality. It said degree of excellence, caliber. And I looked up caliber, and it said the diameter of a bullet. And gave gauge as a synonym. I looked up gauge, and it said estimate. And I looked up estimate, and it said approximate, nearly correct. And I looked up approximate, and it said, nearly correct. And I looked up, gave rough as a synonym. I looked up rough, and it says characterized by violence. And I looked at and gave fierce as a synonym. Fierce is violently aggressive in temperament, savage. So I looked up savage, and it said a brutal person. I looked that up, and it said beast. And I looked up beast, and it said animal. And animal, I said, aha, alligator, we're there. So that's my justification, and I thank everyone very, very much for the honor.
I had not heard that story. Thank you so much for sharing it. It's now on videotape, and I guarantee you it's going to be all over YouTube before the evening is out. I have a remarkable resonance, Ken, with this story because I am a collector of alligators, dead ones, not live ones, and generally carved wood and other sorts of things. I have about 150 of them around the house, and it was occasionally asked, why do you collect alligators? And I will remind you of a story which you probably also know about a man who was sent off to drain a swamp. And after a few months, they called him to say, how are you doing draining the swamp? And he said, well, when you're up to your rear end in alligators, sometimes you forget your job is to drain the swamp. You're just fighting off alligators. And I thought I'd lived in an environment where there were a lot of technical alligators. I thought I should get to know these things. So thank you for sharing that story with us. And once again, congratulations on this wonderful award. I would like to invite Mr. Harada to join us for a final word or two to acknowledge the prize. And I also want to thank the embassy for making your time available. So please, will you take the lectern?
Thank you very much, Van Cleef, and then Dr. Thompson. Congratulations on your Japan Prize. And our Consul General is not able to come, so he sent me, who is a few years younger, and like to say our heartfelt congratulations to your accomplishment and Dr. Ritchie's accomplishment. We like to take this occasion to realize that how alligators can do to scientists, and particularly who are looking for the opportunity to go for the Japan Prize. And then many of the Google engineers who may be interested in getting Japan Prize may get live alligators. So be careful about this environment in the next several weeks. But I would like to take this opportunity to say our heartfelt sympathies for the tornado victims and then flood victims in this country. We experienced a 3/11 disaster, tsunami, and earthquake disaster in Japan, as many people mentioned. And we are quite grateful for not only the sympathies and donations that we receive from American people here, and also that there are so many American military personnel who still have been helping, and there are about 20,000 military people together with the Japanese self-defense forces, about 100 personnel. Those people's contributions I want to mention in this occasion to thank for Americans' help and the friendship in time of our need. And also, we like to say thank you so much for what Google has done in this disaster. I learned that already Google's staff contributed almost $6 million for the fundraising. And also the crisis management team, the person finder, and some of the other like Business Finder and roadmap information website. Those are the very, very effective and useful tools in this crisis. And I want to thank you so much for Google staff to come together to make this possible. And our consulate, after the earthquake, set up the operation room immediately. And we are probably one of the first consulate who listed the Google's personal finders website in our consulate website. We have been very encouraged in the time of this difficulty. We are touched. We are moved by the many goodwills through donations to Japan Red Cross, and our own consulate set up our special account to receive the donations from all the American people, Japanese Americans or Japanese who live in this Bay Area. So I just want to take this opportunity to say our heartfelt thank you on behalf of the people who are suffered in this earthquake and tsunami. And thank you very much for inviting myself and Mr. Nagaya to this very special occasion. And I really hope that Dr. Thompson will have a chance to see cherry blossom next year in your visit, and then hope to you see our emperor and empress. And thank you very much for inviting us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harada. I think as we watch Japan and its people work their way through recovery from this disaster, that we will learn from you many lessons for how to cope in the future with such events. So we look with great admiration on what you have achieved so far, and we, of course, look forward to doing what we can to continue to be of assistance. Well, this is the closing of the formal activities, but I would like to invite all of you who wish to stay to join us for a reception outside. The seats in the back are going to be removed shortly after you exit them so that we can make some room for people enjoying the reception. So don't be surprised if someone comes and tries to remove the seat from underneath you. It's part of the plan. But outside you will find refreshments. I would like to ask, however, that Ken and Bonnie and the other special guests remain in the front here for formal photographs to be taken, and then we can join the rest of our colleagues in the reception. So thank you again, all of you, for coming today. Congratulations again to Ken, and we look forward to your return from Japan next year with stories about the alligators that you found in Tokyo. So thank you all very much for coming.